The WHO estimates that there are 100,000 to 150,000 new cases of Noma each year. Children aged 2 to 6 years contracting Noma. Only 10% of those will survive to live with its devastating effects. And they also estimate that 750,000 people live with Noma and its aftermaths. The other 90% died.
Starting from Mauritania, through Chad, the north of Nigeria, up to the east in Ethiopia.
Noma strikes in the poorest of poor communities where there are no records of births or deaths, and hence, as these children are not documented, their exclusion after surviving Noma and then being subjected to this terrible facial affliction is actually facilitated. Noma was common in the United States of America and in Europe until the end of the 19th century in the poorest classes, and was eradicated by welfare advances. The exception, probably significantly, was in World War II, where cases were recorded in Auschwitz and Belsen concentration camps. Feverish children who are already affected by malnutrition are Noma's victims. Healthy children don't contract Noma.
Noma is a horrible infection in the face occurring in young children that are malnourished and have an impaired immune system due to diseases like, for example, measles. They're left with a very mutilated face with huge tissue defects where the mouth is affected and is away. It is gangrenous. It is gone after several months, and you end up with big holes in the face with the problem that you cannot open your jaw. They have speech problems. They have problems with eating.
Children already suffering or surviving malnutrition develop a mouth ulcer, and a black spot appears on the face. Their breath starts to smell, and that gangrenous condition spreads rapidly, destroying living skin tissues around the face, creating a sunken hole as the cartilage is destroyed, and often bordered with grotesquely protruding teeth. And children are so afflicted they have difficulty speaking properly, eating and drinking, and their faces are so distorted that they're hidden by the community from a very young age, and they can't go to school, and this is presuming they survive, because it's unforgiving. 90% of patients expire within days of contracting Noma.
Noma is said to be a disease of the poor, the poorest of the poor. Some people call it face of poverty. People with Nomas have difficulty. They are ostracized because of their problem. They have a defect on the face, and the face is your passport to society.
There is a feeling that these patients have forgotten to die. When asked about her life, Camilla replies, "I have no life," and goes on to explain, "This occurred 2 years after birth. I'm unable to go to market, meet with friends, or go to elementary school. I have no husband." Children like Khadija, who survive Noma, often find that their lips have been eaten by this infection when they were very young, and as they grow up, because the lips are no longer protecting the teeth are unrestricted, and so over time they move upwards and outwards to become an extension of the tongue and are
She is therefore rendered unable to perform even the most basic functions of eating properly or speaking clearly. The patients, after their long journey, wait outside the consulting rooms. It's crowded inside and out as people strain to see and be seen. There is hope for the patients when Leroux, whose day job is private cosmetic surgery in Yorkshire, opens his black marker pen to draw on the faces of the patients expertly, designing where and how the facial flaps and grafts will fold, moving the patient slowly towards normality. But when the pen doesn't appear, the patient is either guided towards notation for additional tests and examinations, or is gently moved outside to hang around at the door until they can be told privately that the doctors cannot help them after all.
Face is the means by which we communicate, recognise friends, express happiness, sadness, trust, our joy or amusement. It's a common language or a common way to communicate when there is no common language. And it's the face that provides the first impression when you meet a stranger. So when you're disfigured, it's often hidden, or you're ostracised from the community. And for Noma, the effect is devastating because in areas of extreme poverty, in cultures where one of the few comforts is the community, is the family, that even is taken away.
This girl's got years of operating to go to get anywhere near normality. She'll never be normal. She is now destined to not marry, to live on her own, and so the best you can do is give her something to live with, but she's going to be on her own all her life now.
This is a childhood disease born out of malnutrition, lower immune systems, poor living conditions, measles. And despite killing 90% of those children who contract it, the WHO have classified this disease as an oral hygiene issue. Noma is preventable, and yet by its very existence it breaks 7 out of 8 of the UN Millennium Development Goals.
As the teams of surgeons rebuild the lives of the known afflicted, Noma is left to fester on the developed world's neglect, mauling the faces and the lives of children by what is, in fact, a preventable disease.
It can be treated, yes, in the acute stage with antibiotics and good feeding. But the children that are the victim of Noma are not living in circumstances that they have access to good health services.